In a bonus video this week, we are going to do a quick review on the Drycode boots. I was in the market for a new pair of rubber boots, the non-insulated kind, and I've had a pair of Irish Setters for a long time. They've worked great. They've done everything I've asked them to. Actually, here, I think I've had them for like 6 or 7 years. The pattern's all faded. It's, got a nice chunk. I don't know if you can see that nice chunk dug out of that because I, would do some habitat work in this when it wasn't too cold. Overall, it was just a great boot, but as you can tell, it's very worn out. Now, I was actually going to buy a pair of lacrosse boots because I really like my insulated pair, which we're going to do a little bit of feature comparisons between the two. Now, the Drycode boots are not insulated, but luckily Drycode reached out and wanted to know if I would do a review of their boot, and being in the market for one, I said, sure. And so they sent me a pair of their boots. Now, full disclosure, they did send this to me for free to test out. However, my rule for doing any kind of review is that I have to be able to speak freely on what I am reviewing. If they have any kind of requirements for me to say, then I just shy away from it. However, the only thing they required of me is just to put a link out there. So, of course, I would do that. However, this boot reminds me a lot of my Irish Setter. So it's very similar design. A very aggressive tread on the bottom. It's a very good boot. So the first thing I did whenever I got these boots in was, inspect it. Look to see, how the stitching looked, how the pattern looked. Was there any defects, any over, some stuff sticking off from the molding. It all looks very good. It is a little stiff around the ankles, and part of that's just being a new boot. It's going to take a little while to kind of break in, which is to be expected. It's a little loose around my calves, and I've got little chicken leg calves, so it was, all rubber boots are like that on me. So I had a friend of mine try these on, and he's got big boy calves, and they fit him comfortably. And, I mean, these were very comfortable to walk in. Like I said, it's just a little bit stiff, but that'll break in. And overall, I'm very happy with this boot. Just a little side-by-side comparison to the three. They're all about similar in height. The Drycode is a little bit shorter, which I'm not sure that really matters. You'll notice the Drycode boot is a little thicker around the ankles, which is probably why it's kind of stiff right now, on top of it also being a newer boot. You can see that the lacrosse boot it's kind of cut in a way that molds that ankle to where it makes it easier for it to bend. So I really like the way the lacrosse boots walk, especially being insulated. It's almost like walking in big thick socks. However, again, it's a different kind of boot being insulated, 1200 gram Thinsulate. But the Drycodes I'm more than happy with those. Now, something I did notice kind of offhand while I was doing this comparison of my of these boots, my lacrosse boots, I just got them last year. It's a nice little crack in them right there, so I'm not too happy about that. And I'm going to have to look at what the warranty is on these things, because that's very disappointing, especially for how expensive these boots really are. The camo pattern also looks really good on the Drycode boots. Like I said, the lacrosse is only a year old, and it's kind of a different texture. Instead of it being kind of slick like the Irish Setters and the Drycode, it's kind of more of a fabric material. So it seems a little duller than it really is, but that, of course, looks very good. It's kind of unfair to compare the Irish Setter boots because they've been, 7 years old, and lots of turkey seasons and doing some work in them. It just kind of really faded out. So although, like I said, I am really happy with those boots. I'm going to give them to my brother-in-law, so he's got some rubber boots to use. But the Drycodes are definitely going to be a great replacement for my Irish Setters. Now, the cost difference, I actually got the Irish Setters on sale from Midway USA for like $90, I want to say, but the Drycodes right now, they're on sale on Amazon for $70, but when they're not on sale, they're about, I think it was $85 or $89, I can't remember. So it's very similar priced. And so if you're in the market for a good pair of non-insulated rubber boots, I think it's definitely worth a shot going for these Drycode boots. I mean, as you saw with my lacrosse boots, sometimes paying that top dollar, getting that name brand doesn't always mean a longer lasting quality. Now, we'll see how well these hold up. I'll do a review of these again after the season or after a year's worth of work in them, and you're just wearing them around, see how well they loosen up. I think it'll be a lot easier to walk in these after I break them in a little bit. But like I said, if you're on the market for a good pair of rubber boots, give Drycode a shot. And so let us know down in the comments below if you've got any questions regarding these boots, maybe some features I didn't talk about, some burning questions you have. Now, if you buy these off of Amazon, they have that thing where you can try it before you buy it. Supposedly how it works is you can order them, try them out. If you don't like them, you can send it back and they will refund your money. Supposedly no questions asked. So let us know if you've tried that, how that worked. Also, if you've had this pair of boots for a couple of years, let us know how they held up. I'm hoping that they last like my Irish Setters. 6-7 years out of them is definitely a good, long-lasting boot. You don't want to be buying new rubber boots every year or every other year. Your boots should last longer than a season. I'm still very disappointed in my lacrosse boots. I'm going to have to look into how I can get that fixed. Hit that like button if you like this review. Share it if you found it helpful, and make sure that you are subscribed so you can stay informed.